Hey Riley besties, welcome back to the Writing with Anna New podcast where we talk about all things writing. In today's episode, I am very excited to rant. I'm just gonna rant. Today, I don't really know what I'm gonna title this episode. I'm just gonna say being a writer seems so hard and impossible sometimes. And this episode is very much inspired by Kelly Ty's video, which I adored. She uploaded it a couple weeks ago, but it just kind of really stuck with me. So I'll definitely link that in the description. I think it's called about, being an unpublished author and, how authors really do, kind of, what's the word, measure success. They measure success in a way that kind of, you need to be young to be an author. You have to publish really young. You got to be good looking. You got to have all of this stuff so quickly, which is really stressful and impossible. I think it's honestly impossible. I definitely have gotten into that sort of mentality of needing to be young and needing to be successful in order to prove myself. And I kind of thought about if I'm proving, that sort of thing to myself or to other people. And I think it's honestly to other people, especially to my parents and to the world and people who just kind of don't think writing is a feasible thing. I mean, someone the other day, quote unquote, used air quotes to describe my writing. Oh, you want to do writing, right? And I'm like, that really hurt, you know what I mean? So I am very much subject to just as much criticism, almost I don't know, it's just so dehumanizing sometimes, thinking that, or realizing more so that people really don't think writing is feasible. And I thought about this, and especially with the idea of being a young author, and if I will be able to get published before I'm 20, I'm 19 right now. I'm just like, wow, can you imagine that? I will be able to say that I did this at this time. How fun would that be? I feel like all young writers right now, if you're a young writer under 30 maybe or 40, you're just I want to make it, and you can't because it's so hard, and it's that 1% who gets so much more. It's not you're kind of downplaying their achievements. It's definitely it's so cool, but it's just comparison's a thing, you know what I mean? And I think definitely, especially with Alex Astor, Chloe Gong, I haven't even read Chloe Gong's work because there was a time I just felt so jealous and just if I'm reading, I should be writing, you know what I mean? And there was a time where I literally did not read at all because I would get so, not so much jealous of the author, but more so this sort of guilt that I'm consuming writing when I should be writing myself and being the person who wrote that book for people to read. I kind of felt bad about being a consumer instead of creating and using that time consuming instead of, writing my book, which is so messed up. So very messed up. But I guess as I continue this episode, I don't really know what I'm talking about. I'm just kind of spitting these random stuff. Kelly, made it sound so much better. She can critique it and articulate it so much better than me. But I'm basically saying what Kelly is saying. But I did want to add on to what, she was kind of getting at. And that is the fact that there is a harsh truth about being a writer. And there is a reason why people do not think writing is a feasible or smart or sometimes even honorable, sort of, I don't know, career. I kind of did think about it, and I mean, what are we doing? What are writers doing? What makes their work good? What makes their work better than that of a doctor, of a lawyer? And I thought maybe it's because people think, it's just fairy tale stories. And I kind of get it. When I think about my stories, my stories are silly. My stories are stupid. My stories are just me having fun. And I think maybe it's something to do with that and the fact that I'm realizing that, my stories, it's not I work. I mean, I work hard. It's so hard to write a book, and I'm not downplaying anything, but it's more so just to what extent is your hard work writing a book, it's sort of a very much a play sort of work, you kind of brainstorm characters, which is fun. You're not studying equations. You're not on your feet all day, as a brain surgeon. You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of a different sort of work, and that doesn't mean that it's harder or that it's not as difficult, or yeah, I think it's still just something that you should, I don't know, keep in mind. I mean, it's not that I'm defending people who criticize writers, because that is the last thing I'm trying to do. It's more so just understanding where they come from and how that can help me. And I think I was having a discussion with my mum about my career. And if you guys don't know, I'm studying law. I'm in law school right now, which is totally fun. It is fun. I honestly don't complain too much about it. I mean, I don't like it because I would rather be studying music. No, not music, sorry. I would love to study music. No, like studying, yeah, writing or literature or something like that. But I think I came like back from that conversation by thinking that yes, I still want to be in a law school. I still want to have that backup, and potentially it's starting to not look like a backup. I don't know if you guys saw my tweet the other day. Oh my gosh, the way that I've been thinking about this like the whole week, like my self-esteem for my writing has because if you guys don't know, I'm in querying. I'm in the querying trenches, and I made this tweet about I said I'm beginning to become more and more grateful that I chose to study law because of the way the world is, or the world is like where the world's going, and also the way that the querying trenches are treating me. So I was basically saying how like I'm glad I chose this instead of betting all of my money or like putting all my eggs into this dream and this hope. And I think that is the harsh reality of the world. And I think taking on that perspective and taking on this own understanding that I've kind of felt grateful that I am in a more traditional sort of career, or at least on the trajectory for that career, it's definitely something that, although I'm going to have to pay off, like, I think it's like 100K or something for my degree, it's like 5.5 years, I'm still going to have that backup. And of course, as I'm going back into the career and I'm getting nothing, literally nothing, and querying has been extremely difficult for me, and I definitely am going to share that in a vlog that I'm editing at the moment. It's just taking a while for me to get through because I cry every single time because I'm basically crying on camera all the time. So, yeah, querying hasn't been treating me very well. So in that sort of sense, I'm realizing that even though I had it in my back of my mind that this isn't going to work out, I think seeing it play in my own life is really validating in a way. And I did have this whole discussion. I'm just like, sorry guys, I need to relax. But anyways, I'm just gonna continue pulling random threads from my brain because you guys are listening. So let me do that. But I was having a discussion with one of my boyfriend, actually. I have a boyfriend. That's weird. And I was saying how frustrated I was about knowing that what I thought is true. Like, I have such bad self-esteem in like all of my dreams, especially writing. So like knowing that I wasn't going to get a query back and not getting a query back made me feel even worse. Like, I would rather hope and be so blind with this hope that I just feel disappointed instead of me getting validated of my own cynicism. Cynic? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, that's what really got to me. And I think like I kind of just, yeah. And I wonder how much is my belief or my self-awareness of the harsh reality of a world of writers in the world and in, you know, this terrible, terrible economy. More so just, yeah, what Kelly was saying about the stupid like marketing, like no one knows. No one freaking knows. Like, it's only the big guys who really do. And then it's like the readers as well that kind of like dictate what is gonna be popular. You know, it's just really difficult. So I guess taking all that in reflection is basically me knowing that, hey, it's hard being a writer, and I understand why people have to, like writers have to literally have a job as they continue pursuing writing. And there was a time where I came to a conclusion like last week that I'm just like, I'm just going to be a lawyer and I'm going to keep writing as a hobby. And that made me feel like I was giving up on writing, which is really, really scary sometimes. But yeah, that's kind of just how I felt, which is totally valid. But again, I don't want to give up on writing. And that's when like that sort of there's lots of phases, and I feel like I'm going through like menopause, but querying. What what am I saying? Querying menopause? What the hell? Do you understand? Like, I honestly think querying and this sort of being in this state of unknowing, in this state of like self deprecation, is making me insane. Is making me insane. It's so fun that I'm like right in the middle of exams and assignments. So, yay! Um, to kind of tie off this episode and honestly take what you can from this, I don't know what I'm saying, and I think I should have definitely jotted down some notes, but I don't really like thinking about it. So I just like talking about it and forgetting about it. So to kind of like just tie that all up, I do want to just say how querying my book has been and how I feel like sometimes giving up on my book, which I guess kind of reflects or like goes into what I was saying before about giving up and just making writing a hobby and never querying again. But Project Ghost is the book I'm querying, which is it's not really paranormal. It's kind of a paranormal book where this girl meets four ghost boys and it's novella. So it's really hard for someone I think it's really difficult for, sort of debut authors to get a novella published because something like they want to make sure it's a good book because they're going to like print that many pages, or like if they're gonna go to the effort they're gonna print more. I don't even know, man. It seems so stupid. So I've had some rejections that come back and basically say I no novellas, no novellas. So they didn't even look at my book, they didn't even see the potential in my synopsis in the book that I wanted to write. They could have said like, oh, like maybe. But I don't know. Like, I guess that's fair. That's fair. I've gotten a lot of rejections that don't even make sense. That basically like say, oh, I don't know I don't know what the YA sort of market is. So because of this, I'm rejecting you. What? What does that have to do with? And then there's some nice ones that are just kind of like, I wish you luck. Sorry, this isn't for me. This doesn't fit me. Blah blah blah. And it's just like, wow. I wonder if there's actually a market for my book. I wonder if my book even has a market. I wonder if that is a bad thing or a good thing. And I wonder if my book is even worth continuing to query, or if I should just work on my fantasy book that seems, I don't know, to have more potential. And it's sort of like what happened with I love Chris a lot, and she queried her cyberpunk book, which got a amazing agent. So congrats, Chris, if you're listening. Yeah, so it's just kind of like that's encouraging to see like such a hard sort of genre as cyberpunk being able to get accepted. But something like I can't describe Project Ghost in a way that doesn't spoil the whole book. It's like a paranormal book about mental health and stupid teenagers. Like, is that like, I understand if I say that out loud, that doesn't seem very appetizing to agents. And that's when I'm just like, should I be changing my querying process? Should I be changing my letter, my synopsis? Should I change the whole book? Should I just do that? Should I just do that? Anyways, as you can tell, I'm very frustrated with querying. I'm very frustrated with being a writer and what that means for my future. If anything, very frustrated with the way that people view writers, but also understanding them and understanding that sometimes it's just to protect us. And I'm also understanding that I'm actually not as naive as I thought I would be. I think I'm very trusting in normal people, trusting in very small things. But when it comes to myself, I do not trust myself or have faith in a lot of stuff, including my books, which is really interesting since I am querying my book. I think it's, just to prove me right. I like to be proved right. That's why I'm literally studying law, guys. I want to be proved right that my book will never get published. Like that's my mentality, I guess. And I think reflecting on that is really fun. Sorry for the long episode. Sorry for me being very negative, but sometimes we need that sort of space to kind of talk about this. But I really wish you guys luck in your projects. If you are querying, don't stop. No, if you're thinking of querying, don't. Self-publish. But yeah, I don't know why I made this episode. I just was feeling like it, and I definitely needed some steam to come off me. I call myself a writer and I can't even think of the actual thing, metaphor. I don't know what that is. Anyways, everyone, sorry for me being so stupid and so very much too transparent in this episode, but I hope you guys enjoyed nevertheless. And yeah, I love you guys. I support you guys. And if you guys ever need just some support, go over to my Discord, go into my YouTube comments. Everyone is always so beautiful and so kind. Or definitely just check out my Instagram. I have a lot of sad poetry there. So if you need to vent, go over there. If you need some sort of validation, go to my poetry. Extremely relatable. Anyways, guys, I love you so much. And I hope to see you in my next writing episode. Bye, everyone.